Hi YouTube. I just wanted to put together a quick video. It's been a little while since I've been able to do one of these. My butt was thoroughly kicked in the last week or so. I've never been so sick in the longest time. So I'm going to try to fight through this, and you know, sorry in advance if I end up having a coughing fit at some point. I don't know if I can go 10 minutes without one. But first of all, I'd like to thank Silver Turtle. His mom crocheted me a fish doily. So I'd like to feature that in this video. Very cool of him. He just sent this out to me. And also to to a silver shareholder, I won a 1 ounce Year of the Horse coin on his channel on a recent contest he had. And he got this right out to me, and he also sent me he has a business card with his YouTube channel ID on it with please subscribe to my YouTube channel, thank you, and also his preservation of wealth email. So very cool. And I thank him for that. You know, two really good guys, and I'm subscribed to both of their channels. You know what's really underrated, guys? Hot apple cider. You know? We just finished up with apple harvest time, and that's huge up here. Apple harvest season is huge in Vermont. And one of my favorite parts of it is hot apple cider. Just take some apple cider and nuke it up for about a minute and a half, minute 40 seconds, and man, I tell you, it's really good stuff. So if you've never tried it, give it a shot. You'll like it. So I wanted to do a video on trying to build wealth from scratch. You know, I'm very sensitive to the fact that a lot of people that watch my videos are trying to get their financial house in order for the first time, sometimes for the first time in their lives. But this is something that they've committed to doing, and they want to start with it, but it's really hard. You know, basically, you know, starting from zero, you feel like you're running with boots. And the other reason that I'm sensitive to it is because I'm trying to take lessons that I've learned from trying to build wealth myself using gold and silver as a vehicle and apply it to other parts of my life. You know, I'd really like to get the diet and nutrition and exercise part of my life in order, and I'm failing miserably. I am. You know, do I know what I should be doing? Absolutely. Do you know that you shouldn't be spending more than you take in? I'm sure you do. It's just not that easy, is it? You know, it's just not easy to make those sacrifices. And financially, it is. It's all sacrifices. That's all it is. It's telling your buddies, no, I don't want to go to Wild Wings this weekend and watch the football game with you and drop $50. I'd rather buy 2 Eagles. It's telling your buddies that, okay? And it's not easy. For me, it's you know, going to the vegetable crisper in my refrigerator instead of the cupboard that has the granola bars and muffins and chips, right? I mean, or pizza, you know, microwaving a frozen pizza, or, you know, putting a frozen pizza in the oven. That's what it takes from me. And I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and yet I'm not doing it. It's very difficult. You know, whenever you're looking for financial advice, whether it's on the internet or maybe Money Magazine or on CNBC, you know, it's always, what do you do with your $10,000? What do you do with $25,000? What do you do with $1 million? We've seen that one, right? It's a joke. Meanwhile, nobody ever says, how do I get started? You know, show me step one. And it's difficult. You know, you're not going to go out and pay a financial advisor when you don't have any money for him to advise you on, right? So it's very easy to just kind of get on that hamster wheel and just start running in place, right? And the harder you run, the more you don't get anywhere. And it's difficult, and it's easy to throw in the towel, you know. But you know what? Sometimes it just takes a scare in order for you to make a change. It takes a scare in order for you to make a change. You know, for me personally, I really hope that I don't have a health scare that says, hey, stupid, watch your diet, start exercising. You want to be around for your kids. And that's where I'm headed at some point. Of course I am. If I don't change something, you know, if I stay overweight at some point, there's going to be a health scare. You know, maybe I'm a little dizzy out in the heat. You know, maybe I have a heart attack. Who knows what it's going to be? But it's coming. Not today, hopefully. Not next year, hopefully. Maybe it's 20 years. But at some point in my life, I'm going to have a scare. And it might be enough to kickstart me into making good choices. But You know what? That's not a guarantee. Tell you what, when I worked at the grocery store, do you know how many packs of cigarettes I sold to people dragging in oxygen tanks? No kidding. Dead serious as a heart attack here. Do you know how many cartons and packs of cigarettes I sold to people breathing in oxygen and wheeling around a portable oxygen tank? Of course, they had a ton of health scares, and yet they still chose to keep smoking cigarettes. You know, it wasn't enough for them to say, you know what, I want to live, and smoking these cigarettes isn't worth it to me. You know, when it comes to, I basically had a self-imposed financial scare, a health of my finances scare, right? I started really doing the math here, and the math did not favor me at all. My whole life I read about the whole, hey, with compounding interest and everything else, you got to start young, and if you start at 25 versus 40, that you have to put in this much less. And I read all those articles. I've been reading financial magazines and watching CNBC my whole life, literally since I was like 18 years old. That's not my whole life, but you get the point. Yeah, I've been doing that forever, and yet it wasn't really working until I really kicked myself in the butt, and I said, hey, stupid, when you get to be retirement age, you are going to be a cautionary tale. You are going to be dependent on somebody else, whether it's the government, whether it's family. You are going to need somebody else to meet your needs for basic living. Tell you what, that was sobering. Even more sobering, the fact that because I run the finances in the house, I'm responsible for my wife too. And I realize that choices that I make are going to directly impact her. So I got started. Now, if for those of you that find yourself in a similar position, I can throw some ancient Chinese proverbs at you. You know, my favorite one is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And I'm telling you, that is perfectly spot on. But you know what? You have to be the person that changes it up. Nobody is going to do this for you. Okay? I promise you, you don't have a rich uncle that you don't know about. You know, there's no lottery winnings in your future. There's none of that. There's only sacrifice and hard work that's going to save you. Okay? And it has to be something that you decide for yourself. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to work. And the best tool, the best exercise that I can recommend to you is for 1 month, please do one thing. Okay, and this is for those of you that haven't just begun the process yet. Write down every dollar that you spend. I don't care if you're putting a quarter in a gumball machine. Write it down. Write down every trip to the grocery store. Write down every time you fill up your gas tank. Write down every time you go out with your buddies. Write every single cent down in a diary for 1 month. And then on day 30 or 31, please review that. And look at the way that you throw that money away. Just look at it. Just sit there and say to yourself, wait a minute, I keep telling myself that I can't do this, that this is too hard. And look at the money that I'm pissing away here. Just look at it. Look at where all that money's going. And then just ask yourself this, is this what you want, and is it sustainable? Is it sustainable in an environment where people are losing their jobs more often than they're getting hired? Is this sustainable in a where you can kind of see where we're headed in the future, right? Where the government at some point is going to have to tighten its belt. Is this what you want? If the answer is no, look for ways to cut your budget and just take a small amount to start. $25 a week, $50 a week. You know, maybe even get lucky and find $100 a week on there. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised. And then go from there. Make those necessary cuts. That's the way that you're going to turn this around. And hopefully it's not a financial health scare that causes you to do it. Hopefully this is something you can do on your own. 9 out of 10 people, 9 out of 10 people fail those New Year's resolutions. So they all go in with good intentions, and 9 out of 10 fail. Okay, I was looking at the spreadsheet, the very first one that I did, and I was shocked at how many of the people I never see on YouTube anymore. Now, hey, maybe they're stacking, on their own and in private, right? Maybe, but I think a good chunk of them have given up on it. I think they've decided it wasn't for them. Maybe their hand was forced, but honestly, I have a feeling a lot of them just simply gave up. I mean, human nature and kind of bears that out. People take the path of least resistance wherever they can. And let's be honest, the easiest thing to do is to eat junk food. The easiest thing to do is just spend the money like you have it, even if you don't. That's the easiest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is to make those sacrifices and start building that wealth. But I'm telling you, the one thing that you got to take away from me here is that as your stack grows, and you're seeing this all over YouTube, you're seeing a ton of people going through this. As it grows, there is nothing that'll motivate you more to keep going. And like I said, hopefully, I hope myself, speaking for myself here, I hope that I can take some of these lessons that I've learned from doing this and apply it to other parts of my life. And man, I think that I could really improve things for the better for everybody around me. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.